She rounded the rock and saw the house that was, these days, her second home. Set on the corner, it was unmissable on the block. A 4-storied, stocky building with cantilevered Crittall Bay windows running down a central column. The dark, time-blackened bricks, offset by the bright verdigris of the copper mansard roof and downpipes. A high garden wall obscured the surprisingly leafy and pretty courtyard within. Oddjob, the family's tabby cat, was sitting on top and surveying his kingdom. As she drew closer, she saw the gate set within the garden wall begin to open. She wasn't the only one behind time today, then. An electric scooter was swung through, followed by a bespectacled man in a mid-thigh navy pea coat, a Missoni-striped scarf at his neck, and a brown satchel worn across his body, his lightly salted dark hair largely obscured by a ribbed beanie. "Hi, Max," she panted, her brakes squeaking slightly as she lifted over her left leg and came to a stop standing on the pedal. "Morning, Belle," he said, holding the gate open for her, and she dipped through with brisk practiced efficiency, as though this were a dance. "How's it going in there today?" she asked, propping the bike up against the garden wall and pulling off her pom-pom hat. Her long dark hair immediately stood with static. He shook his head with a roll of his eyes. "It's a madhouse. I'm escaping with my sanity while I still can." She laughed. "That explains why I like it here, then. I lost mine years ago." She grinned, running up the back steps and opening the fully glazed back door. The ground floor of the house stood a couple of metres off the ground to allow light into the sub-basement below. "Morning, everyone," she said cheerily, walking into the kitchen and twisting up her hair into a top knot with a band she kept on her wrist. Her eyes automatically scanned the dirty breakfast dishes in the sink, the orange juice getting warm on the island. Without thought, she returned it to the fridge. "Oh, Belle, thank heavens you're here. I've got to dash. A client's just booked an emergency appointment and they're waiting for me." If Hannah's voice suggested urgency, her movements didn't, as she shrugged on a berry-coloured coat that looked sensational against her pale blonde hair, and double-checked her appearance in the mirror. As ever, her discreet makeup was expertly applied, not a hair out of place. In the 3 years she'd been working for the Mogert family, Belle had never seen her looking anything less than flawless. Her kitchen, on the other hand. Feeling a tug at her ankles, Belle looked down to find Elise, the older of the twins by 9 minutes, tugging her tucked-in trousers out of her socks with a disapproving pout. Even at the tender age of 3 3/4, she had her mother's innate sense of style. "Thanks, Elise," she smiled. "That saved me a job. Now, have you brushed your teeth and washed your face?" Elise nodded. Belle bent down and gently wiped a lick of jam off the girl's pudgy cheek with a finger. She showed it to her with one of her famous bemused looks. "Have you?" Elise gasped and ran from the room, scarcely able to believe she'd been rumbled. "She's a rascal," Hannah chuckled as she grabbed her slim leather file case off the kitchen stool. "So, you remember Max won't be back for dinner tonight?" "Yes. I'm making meatballs, so I'll freeze whatever's left over," Belle said, looking in the fridge to make sure she had all the ingredients. It looked like they were low on lingonberry jam. "Great. And I was supposed to get to the parents' meeting with Linus's teacher this evening, but this emergency might throw the whole schedule out the window. Can we play it by ear and, worst case, you can get over there for me?" "Oh." She was supposed to be seeing Ivan again tonight. It was going to be their 3rd date and, she expected, the night. Belle looked across at the 9-year-old watching them both from the kitchen table. He had the face of an angel, softly curled muddy blonde hair and wide grey-green eyes, a smudge of freckles across his nose. He had a gentle manner, manifested in a love for animals and the outdoors, but a mischievous sense of humour often winked through his eyes too, and the first hints of pubescence were beginning to show themselves. Wanting a skateboard, cooler trainers, a Snapchat account. Belle winked at him. "Sure, no problem." She watched as Hannah skittered over to him and gave him a noisy kiss on his cheek, making him scrunch his face in a look of delighted disdain. "I love you, my loony." And thanks, Belle. You are a lifesaver.